let's learn about classifying triangles. A triangle is a polygon with 3 sides and 3 angles. There are many ways to construct triangles, and they can be classified by properties of their angles and sides. Classifying triangles by angles. We have a right triangle has 1 right angle. A blank triangle has 3 acute angles less than 90 degrees. If all my angles are acute, it's an acute triangle, because that means my largest angle is acute. A blank triangle has 1 obtuse angle, which is greater than 90 degrees. If my largest angle is obtuse, I have an obtuse triangle. Let's go back to right. This is a right triangle because the largest angle is a right angle. We're looking at the largest angle always, and that's how we classify by angles. All right. Well, let's look at these triangles and classify them by their angles. My largest angle here is going to be right here. This is bigger than a right angle. I can also check that by putting a piece of paper in this corner. And do you see how this line opens up wider than that? That tells me that this angle is bigger than 90 degrees, making this an obtuse triangle. My biggest angle here is acute, so I have an acute triangle. On this shape, I have a right angle. That means I have a right triangle because my largest angle is a right angle. Triangles can also be classified by the number of sides that are congruent, which also means the same length. Tick marks are used to indicate sides that are congruent on a figure as shown below. So we're going to put congruent here, which means same length. On this first triangle, I have a tick mark here, here, and here, showing that all 3 sides are congruent. If all 3 sides are congruent, I have an equilateral triangle. On this one, I have at least 2 congruent sides. So if I have at least 2 congruent sides, it's isosceles. Isosceles. And this last one, this has 1 tick mark, this has 2 tick marks, this has 3 tick marks, showing that none of those sides are congruent, making this scalene. All right, let's classify. So on this one, I don't have any equal sides. If I don't have any equal sides, I have a scalene triangle. This one, I have at least 2 equal sides, so that's going to go to isosceles. This triangle, all 3 sides are equal, so that's going to go for equilateral, and it's also going to go for isosceles, because isosceles, the definition is at least 2. So if I have 3 equal sides, that means I am definitely equilateral as well. All right, triangle D, 2 equal sides, making us isosceles. And then this last one, 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks, 3 tick marks. That means no sides are equal, so this will be a scalene triangle. Go ahead and write this down here. Every equilateral triangle is isosceles, but isosceles triangles are not equilateral. An equilateral triangle is isosceles because it has at least 2 equal sides, because there's 3 equal sides here. Isosceles cannot be equilateral because to be equilateral, I have to have 3 equal sides. This triangle is isosceles, but it's not equilateral because there's only 2 equal sides. All right. We're going to classify these triangles by sides and angles. Okay, so I will start by sides. If I have 2 equal sides, that makes me isosceles. Here's my biggest angle, and it is obtuse. So we have isosceles, obtuse. This angle, all 3 sides are the same, so I could have equilateral, EQUI LATERAL. And since it has 3 equal sides, it's also isosceles. Now let's look at by angle. All those angles are acute. They're all less than 90 degrees. This will also be acute. All right, let's start by classifying by its sides. Tick mark here show that I have 2 equal sides, meaning I have an isosceles triangle. My largest angle is a right angle, so I have an isosceles right. And last but not least, I have 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks, and 3 tick marks to show that all 3 sides are different, making this a scalene triangle. And then my largest angle is acute, so I'll have a scalene acute triangle. Okay. All equilateral triangles are also isosceles triangles. True or false? That will be true, because if you're equilateral, you have 3 equal sides, and to be isosceles, you just have to have at least 2 equal sides. All isosceles triangles are also equilateral triangles. Let's go back down here. What do we say? Isosceles triangles are not equilateral. Okay, so that's going to be a false statement. All acute triangles are equilateral triangles. Well, this was an equilateral triangle and it was acute. But look here, a scalene triangle can also have acute angles. So can an isosceles triangle. So this is going to be a false statement. All equilateral triangles are acute triangles. This is a true statement. If all my sides are equal, all my angles are equal. 60, 60, and 60. Okay, here we have a scalene triangle here because it has 3 sides to make it a triangle, but no sides are equal or congruent. Then I have isosceles and equilateral. I'm going to put Isosceles on top because it's at least 2, and equilateral on the bottom because it's 3 congruent sides. Isosceles and equilateral. Okay, we need to figure out what can go in here. To go in this, I always have to have acute triangles. So that means I'm always going to have all acute angles. What type of triangle only has acute angles? We just talked about it up here. Equilateral triangle, that's right. And last but not least, we're going to circle the name of the student that drew a triangle in the intersection of isosceles and acute. So looking at this one, I have 1 tick mark, 2 tick marks, 3 tick marks, making all 3 sides of those different. This would be a scaling triangle, and then my angle shows that it's right. Does that go in isosceles and acute? Nope, not isosceles or acute. Then I have Tara. All my angles are acute, so that would be an acute triangle. I have 2 tick marks that show it has 2 equal sides, making it isosceles, so this may work. And then I have Angelica. I have 2 tick marks showing that these are the same size, so that would be isosceles. This isn't marked if it's a right angle, so we're going to have to check to see if it's right, acute, or obtuse. So I'm going to put my little thing right here in the edge of that corner. And as you see, it's a little bit wider. So this angle right here is obtuse. So this would be an obtuse isosceles triangle. So it looks like Tara is the student with an isosceles acute triangle.